Okay, so I believe we are welcoming back the public online after a small little adjournment. And we are still on the proposed lease for 7-9 South Terrace, Betty's Burgers. Are there any further comments or questions in relation to this item? I just want to say the leasing team have worked really hard to fill some of these tenancies. This was one in particular that did not have a great condition that they were trying to bring someone into. So it is really exciting to see an operator and a national reputable operator coming in here with a decent fit out, spending a bit of money. And it's really been it's like the gappy tooth between Geno's and what was Dome, and hopefully soon will be something else very exciting. And I think it'll just it's really a bit of a sign of the turnaround of the strip, and it's been due to a lot of hard work from officers going out there and talking to a lot of people and saying this is an amazing place to invest and make your business, and you will do really well if you do that. And I think it's just a bit of a win, to be honest, and look forward to them agreeing terms. Councillor Groom.
Also credit to the officers, and it's annoyed me for a long time that premises was empty because it's been such a great one. But I do think we're seeing a really interesting turn in the cappuccino strip, this kind of increase of chain type of food, which is not the heart of Fremantle. And I've noticed that, so many of the more interesting new offerings are starting up in the side streets and all of that, and the strip is, looking tired and having a hard time, and it'll be interesting if we see that change, which I find a bit sad, but, empty places are even sadder. So I think we're in for a bit of an interesting time to see how that new character emerges.
All right, so I'll put this item to a vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Great. Okay, that's going to take us to the fair suburb of Beaconsfield, technically, for FL 23019, Hilton Park Sports Precinct, or Hilton Sports Precinct. I'm going to say Hilton Park because I'm old school like that. So I'll move the officer's recommendation and then note that there is a proposed amendment by Councillor Moughlin, which we might go to fairly immediately. So I'll move the officer's recommendation. Get a seconder for that, Councillor Moughlin. Just flagging for those of you who may not have noticed that we are taking nominations for people to be on the working group. I've received 3 so far, but if you're intending to nominate and have not yet done so, have a think about that. So Councillor Moughlin, did you want to go to your amendment? Move that. Yep, so we'll just bring that up on the screen. That's also in the additional documents. We'll grab a seconder for that if there is one. Yep, Councillor Kamada, at the corner of my eye, I think it was. Yep. Did you want to speak to that one a little?
Just briefly, a couple of wording changes that I thought provided better clarity as to what we wanted to be able to achieve through the principles rather, and particularly as well on budget, to make it really clear that it's about being really active and seeking out other opportunities for funding, not just advocating for it, but to really go out there and see what we can get and make it happen. And the more substantive change is in regards to the new principle of sustainability, and both from an environmental perspective, but also understanding that sporting clubs are challenged around maintenance, inputs into their facilities. So if there are ways in which we can work with them to reduce costs, whether that be through power sources, minimising water use, those other opportunities, I think they should be considered as part of this process.
Any discussion on the amendment? I think they're all really good points, and agree about particularly the funding sources. So I'll put the amendment to the vote. All those in favour? Yep, that's carried unanimously. On the item as amended, otherwise we'll go to the nominations for those who wish to be on that working group. Yep, Councillor Sullivan.
flagged that I would like to nominate for the working group, but also just raising the question because it was raised at the when we had the walk around that the officers were saying that it was 3 elected members, not 4. And in the attachment, it actually says 3 elected members. So if we're endorsing the terms of reference, we probably need to include in the recommendation the actual correction of the number of elected members to be part of the working group.
All right, so we've got the nominations I believe I have in front of me are Councillor Moughlin, Councillor Lorver, Councillor Graham, Councillor Sullivan. Are there any other councillors before I? And Councillor Kamada. You can. It's fine. And I intend to take up my ex officio role on that committee as well. So I think that means we need to change it to 5, and I don't think I need to be one of those 5. I think it's ex officio. So I guess if everyone's comfortable with 5 elected members being part of that working group, we could, as part of moving the names, we could move. Okay, so we'll move an amendment to change the number to 5, seconded by Councillor Moughlin. Moughlin. It was him asking me a question. Any discussion about that? I'm looking to officers to make sure they're not worried about this. Good. Okay. All those in favour? Excellent. That's carried. So then we just need to pop the names in the boxes. Pop that up on the screen. I'm hoping we will achieve gender balance on this group through community involvement and other means. Little concerning. That's very laudable. Okay, here we are. Yep, so everyone is comfortable that those are the names we're putting in there. Yep. So that's actually, you've changed the FPOL recommendation, I think, there, but we'll pull that through to the council decision. Any further discussion about this? Nope. All right. Well, I will put the item to a vote with those names included. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Cool. All right. Before I go to ARMC, Councillor Lang, you wanted to?
Thanks. Yeah, just declaring an impartiality interest on item 1, particular Metro account associating with the owner of Metro account in the past. So I thought I would declare that impartiality.
Okay. But you intend to stay and, yeah. As per Councillor Sullivan. Right, so I will note that there's an additional officer comment on page 62. I'll move the officer's recommendation for this one, seconded by Councillor Graham. Is there any questions or discussion on this one? Nope, I'll put that one to a vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. I might just run through ARMC and ask people to identify specific ones they would like to either vote on separately or speak to. Yep. We need to do 3. Any takers for 2? No. 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I'm going to move ARMC 23022, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Seconded by Councillor Sullivan. All those in favour? That's unanimous. I'll move the amended officer's recommendation that's on page 75 for ARMC 23023, seconded by Councillor Graham. Any discussion on that one? All clear. Councillor Groom.
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions which I'm trying to find. I thought I had them open. There we go. So just in finance question 3 of the report, the question from the auditors appears, or the assessor appears to be referring to the audit 2021, but our answer refers to 21-22 report. So I'm just wanting some clarity about who's correct.
Thanks for sending that one through beforehand as well. So, Director City Business.
Through the Mayor, so the response does actually refer incorrectly to the 21-22 audit, so the response we've made. We did not receive the audit report prior to the date that was mentioned because the OAG had delays in their process. So that should be the actual response, and we'll correct that.
Okay. And then finance question 5, the assessor referred to that we should have provided a report to the Minister, and the answer doesn't specifically respond to that question. So should we have given the Minister a report?
Through the Mayor, it is a requirement to provide a report to the Minister. We did meet all the other requirements, but we failed to forward it to the Minister on this occasion, so we're currently working with the department to rectify that at the moment.
Yeah, so going forward, we just tell us when things haven't happened. It'd be good. Thanks.
All right. Any further discussion on that one? Okay, I'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. Okay, that's got us through ARMC. I will move C item 1, the assessment of potential shark-safe swimming areas, noting the amendment by Councillor Mofflin, which a few people have had input into. So I'll get a seconder for that if I can. Councillor Mofflin. All right. Perhaps just in introducing this, I'd like to sort of acknowledge that, you know, it's not been a happy period that's led us to a conversation about this. It's been quite, you know, awful and surprising, I think, to have 2 fatal shark attacks in little local government in less than, 14, 15 months, and both completely tragic circumstances. The overall awareness, I think, of the risk of sharks is very much front of people's minds. Whether the actual risk is greater, it's very hard to say. But I think one of the things I hear a lot is people being very concerned about swimming now, and people who used to feel safe swimming in the river because they didn't feel safe swimming at the beach, now not feeling safe swimming, which I think is a really sad thing. And particularly where it comes to kids swimming as well, which is such a vital life skill in Western Australia. So I think there is, obviously with the petition tonight, but more broadly in the community, a number of people who would like to understand if it's feasible for us to have a protected swimming area somewhere in Fremantle. This goes to get some expert advice as to where a good location or locations for that might be. The state government has written to us saying that they've extended the funding program that they had for ocean netted enclosures to also be available for the river. And we understand other local governments along the river are also having a look at this as well. So this is about getting us some advice about, you know, suitable locations, how it might work, what it might cost us, what maintenance we might be up for if we were to go down this path. So very keen to get this back, and I've been told, reassured by the Director of Infrastructure, that this will be a short, sharp consultancy process that allows us to make some decisions leading into the next budget. The state government has got a budget for capital, and they expect local governments to play the operational aspects. I think there might be a first mover advantage here if we're able to get a request into the state government relatively quickly. So, Councillor Mofflin, do you want to go to your amendment? Or does anyone wish to speak? Phil?
Happy to allow people to speak in the first instance and then move the amendment.
I've got no one on the list. Councillor Archibald.
Sorry.
Look, I'm happy to support the amendment. I just wanted to make a comment that, and I did read somewhere that the state government was looking at doing a review of the data that gives us a better understanding of just what the sharks are doing, both in the river and also in the ocean areas that are where people are swimming. One of the issues is the whole thing about shark fishing, which is one part of it. But the other is just the behavioural things to do with the sharks themselves, and also how they relate to things like the dolphin pods and that kind of thing. So I think as important as this is, it is also really important for us to get some good scientific data through the state government on the behaviour of the fauna in the river and the ocean. So if that could just be included, I don't need to change the amendment, but I think it's really important information for us to have. And then we may need to get some of that information out to the community so that particularly kids know you don't go jumping in where dolphins are swimming and things like that. You know, it's just good information, perhaps.
And perhaps if I take a little bit of that as a question, the relationship with Deep Herd and the work that they're doing has been developed in starting to talk about this as well. And I think absolutely there has to be data and science behind, you know, how we manage the interaction with other animals in the river. So, Councillor Moughlin?
Yeah, so I'll move the amendment.
Seconded by Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. And yeah, I suppose the purpose of me putting this amendment, and thank Councillor Thompson, Jones and the Mayor as well for contributing to pulling this together, was just to be, because the expectation is that officers come back to us with a report for us to inform the next budget, just to be really clear about the information that we're expecting them to bring back to council to inform that decision making. And my primary purpose around that was I didn't want us to get a report back from officers and then to say, oh, we haven't got enough information to make a call, or it's not the right information, and we sit on our hands and find ourselves going, oh, there's another summer. And the expectation from our community is that we do take a serious look at what we might be able to do, and not preempting whether or not there are viable options, but we need to have that information to inform that decision.
Thanks. Councillor Thompson, did you want to? Nope. Nope. Anyone else? So I just want to thank Councillor Moughlin for doing the work on this. I think it is, you know, we're moving at a fast pace here, and it's really important to be specific about what we need to make another decision, and also how that might tie into how the state government might assess funding applications with this kind of a project. All right, so I'll put the amendment to the vote. All those in favour? Great, that's unanimous, and back to the item as amended. Anything further? Councillor Lang?
Sort of question through the Mayor, through Chair, on the items amended, community use and capacity of city infrastructure to support the expected use. It's just for the mover, is that community use, is that a measurement we're looking for in terms of what is the expected increase in patronage at the location? Is that something that we're looking to bring back in the report as well?
Not sure exactly. Perhaps Councillor Moughlin, you could speak on the item. I'm not sure you can answer a question on the amendment now it's passed. But
so yeah, okay, I'll speak to the amended item then, if that's what we're doing. So it's very much about whether the introduction of a barrier or whatever it might be would increase patronage, like you said, and then is that something that we actually want to be able to do, and is there the capacity to support if there is an increase, or to the point do we then see to the petition that was brought tonight about a very local beach or river environment that has limited capacity, and that increased demand or may not even be there. Yep, if you like.
Councillors, any further discussion or questions? Councillor Pemberton?
Just on a similar note, I also hope that the confidential report that was from 2015 is also made available to whoever engages with this, because it did have some useful information about the sightings and locations, and likely locations, and that needs to feed into it.
Well pulled out of the archives, that one. That was really useful to read. Yeah. All right, so it looks like I might put the amended item to a vote. All those in favour? Yeah, and against? Councillor Sullivan against, and that's carried. We've got 2 more C items. Can I move them on block, or did anyone wish to speak to the remaining C items? All right, Councillor Vusic. I'll just go through them one at a time. So I'll move C23023, Statement of Investment, seconded by Councillor Groom. Oh, where's that? Oh, yeah. Right. So I was moving 2302, Monthly Financial Report, just to get the words and the numbers tied up together. Seconded by Councillor Groom. Any questions or discussion? Correct. All right, I'll put that one to a vote. All those in favour? And against? Councillor Vusic against. That's carried. I'll move C23023, Statement of Investments, seconded by Councillor Graham. Any discussion, questions? No, I'll put that one to a vote. All those in favour? That's unanimous. And the final one, C23024, Schedule of Payments. I'll move that, get a seconder. Councillor Archibald, put that one to a vote. No, ask if there's any questions. That'll be good. Okay, and I'll put that one to a vote as well. All those in favour, and that's unanimous. We have no motions of which previous notice has been given, nor any urgent business or late items, no confidential business. So I'll declare the meeting closed at 7:40.